power phone. I don't exactly how do you say the como fuente de poder.
The power source.
Power? Yeah. So
the power source.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this machine don't work. So the DNA no room for the negative charge, positive charge. So we need to repeat the process plus. Oh.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, that is the problem. But that's better now. That's wrong.
So what's a problem with the energy source, you say? And
yeah.
You didn't manage to turn on the machine that you were using, or
yeah,
what was the effect of the problem?
Yeah, this machine genera for the power, the electricity for the, that is like the a play. We have the buffer, a specific buffer. So that's permit the DNA migrate for the different charge for the negative positive. So that this machine don't have the necessary power. So the voltage, that is the different number. When I need 100 volts, this machine had the 60. So that's the problem.
Right. But the machine that didn't have the 180, let's say, I think it's newtons how you calculate energy, right? No, that is force, right? No, it's in volts, right? Or watts. But the point is that is this machine the one that doesn't have enough power, the one that is the machine producing the energy, or the one that receives and utilizes the energy? Which one is the one that has no enough, let's say, potence or power in order for you to use it? Which one? The one that produces energy, or the one that receives the energy?
Produce energy, transfer for the play, the specific play. They have the different voltages. So, so that this machine that is connected for the electricity.
Yes, electricity.
Electricity. So, but this machine we can change the different voltage. So, and this time we need the 100, but only this had the 60.
All right. And you were to other departments in order to ask for a new machine?
Yeah.
That was it? Or yes, you had to go to other buildings, right?
We get one, but tomorrow I need dust laboratory I need to go for dust specific laboratory. So yeah, that's boring.
You're going to come back to the same laboratory
tomorrow.
To give it back, or to ask for it again? What are you going to do in that laboratory? To give the machine back, to return it to their owners, or to ask for it one more time? What are you going to do?
They give me for the machine for my laboratory. Yes.
But you remain with it, or did you return it before coming back?
Yeah, I need to return. Yeah, I need to return.
But you didn't return it yet, right? Tomorrow you're going to return it.
No, tomorrow recently I use.
Oh, so you still have it. You still have it in your laboratory.
This morning I don't have. Yeah.
Okay, I get it. So I guess that is what you're going to do tomorrow when visiting the other laboratory, to give it back, right? To return it. All right, very interesting. Get it. So it was I guess a very bureaucratic process to get the machine, or you didn't need any paper? Because universities is like there is a lot of bureaucracy, right? That you need to do a lot of processes and papers, and to ask for it formally with a letter or something like that. Bureaucratic issues. But was that the case in your laboratory, or you just went to the laboratory and you said, "Hey, I need another machine, please, could you give me one?" How was it?
Yeah, that is so easy. We don't know any paper, so that's only you talk with the responsible, and they see if say yes, you can use.
All right. Well, good, right? I mean, I would have expected something different, especially because it's very, I guess, very expensive machinery. And, you know, I thought that when you request that type of equipment, you need to do it very formally and to basically, well, notify everybody that you are the one in possession of that. But, well, if you tell me that it is very easy, good, right? Beneficial.
Yeah.
Makes things quicker. Very good. Fantastic. Very interesting, Shirley. All right, don't worry about delay. It's fully understandable, you know, things that of course are not in our hands, right? Things that happen. All right, well, anyways, let us continue then with our advance until the point that we have time. Yeah. If you remind, yesterday we had talked about a very interesting topic, and we basically lay the foundations for us to continue with it tonight, right? There was the relative pronouns. And today, what we're going to do is to learn a manner or a way to use those relative pronouns in order to make complex sentences, right? You remind that is what we discussed yesterday, right? That is what we were talking about. So let us get into that. Post this and this as well. And let's get into, all right, into our Google document. You're going to continue using this one. You're going to complement. We're just going to complement what we saw yesterday. Let me see. All right, fantastic. So the relative pronouns. Let us remind what is a relative pronoun, okay? A relative pronoun is a word that introduces a dependent or relative clause and connects it to an independent clause. Yesterday, we also saw the definitions of independent and dependent clauses, if you remind. We talked about that, what is an independent and also a dependent clause. Now, this helps us to enrich our language and make complex sentences. Normally, independent clauses always go first, and then we add our dependent clauses. This is something that you helped me to complement yesterday. It was very good. Now, let us talk about how to do that. Okay, we have laid the foundations. Well, now let us see how can we effectively use this into our grammar. Okay, I'm gonna open the presentation so we can see this part again. Where is it? So here, let me see. No, future continuous is not. Active passive is not as well. No. 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 Should be here. Definite pronouns. Let's continue. Also formation. Where is it? Present perfect tense. No, it's not. Well, we are doing was here yesterday. No. It was right after. It was right after future continuous. What a weird thing. It should be here. We saw it yesterday. Let me check this one more time. Yes, absolutely. Should be here. You're supposed to, because we saw it yesterday, we used it before indirect, solve neither, make like better questions, a lot of few. All right. Well, what a weird thing. Apparently, is not here the slides that we used yesterday. Okay, but doesn't matter. We can talk about it without it.
Do you need to looking for the specific word in PowerPoint?
Oh yes, you're right. You're right. How is this called?
Relative pronoun.
It is here, or what is it? It's here in fine, right? Yes. This is called relative. No. Or somewhere. All right. Apparently there are no. Well, doesn't matter. I guess, well, I don't know what happened, honestly, because we saw it yesterday, right? We took this from the slides. Well, I guess somebody modified them. But nonetheless, we can access here our platform again, and we can look for it in there. But it's basically that you're going to notice there are a lot of relative pronouns that we can use in order to connect independent and dependent classes. And those relative pronouns certainly have some rules, especially for some cases. We're going to have to follow some grammatical rules. And that is what I want us to discuss and see. So let me open this. The same content is here, so it doesn't matter. By the way, you have time to complete your homework and also your exams until this Tuesday, because this unit ends this Tuesday, and then we're going to get into the final into the final 2 levels, which actually do not have material here in Pearson. And the material that we are going to be using, it's going to be, well, it's going to be something out of this. And basically, we're going to be concentrating on how to write essays. That is the material for the last 2 levels of these courses. It's how to write essays. I have been checking it out. And it's actually a very useful content because for the writing section of this TOEFL exam, it's very important for you to know how to write essays, how to use connectors, etc. And writing is one of the best manners to improve English in any possible way, because you practice everything, right? You practice your vocabulary, you practice also even you can practice your, how is this called? You can practice your speaking if you go about writing and then reading what you write, right? But the point is, yes, we're gonna be seeing that later. But for today's class, let us concentrate into this.
Okay.
This is an adjective classes. Maybe I am looking for the wrong name. Adjective classes. No, I am not. No, I'm not. I'm certainly not. Okay. Well, this is it. So let me open it so you can see, and you're gonna be able to understand it. All right. So where is it? It's here. So please could you all right, for you're seeing this, right? Adjective classes, also called relative classes, up in the beginning. Fantastic. So this is something that we're going to omit. Actually, we're not going to be talking about this, but this is it. This is what I was telling about. We can usually use the relative pronouns, who or that. Okay, here. So this is it. These are the first relative pronouns that we're going to be discussing tonight. It's a who and also that. Okay, and we're going to use this ones in order to create complex sentences, but for people. All right. Let us read together. Okay, it says we can use the relative pronouns who or that for a person. Remind that relative pronouns are simply words, right? Simple words that we use in order to connect independent and dependent sentences. Something that you noticed, and it was very correct last time, was that the independent sentences are the ones that always go first, right? Because after you introduce an independent class, what you're going to do is you're going to insert the relative pronoun, and then you're going to add the to the dependent class, as we're going to see right now. So in order to create complex sentences that have to do with people, or that have people as subjects of the sentence, we're going to use these 2 relative pronouns, who or that. Let me show them to you. We're gonna copy this to our here to our Google document, and let's see the first one. So the first ones are going to be relative pronouns, or we're gonna call them people sentences. People's sentences, oraciones de personas, okay? People's sentences. So for this one, as I was mentioning, we're going to use two different relative pronouns. Sorry. There you have. These are the ones. We can use the relative pronouns who or that for a person. These are the two relative pronouns we have available. Okay, like that. Who or that for a person. So Talia. So look at this sentence, Shirley. Talia is the person, and as you can see here, this is an independent sentence, right? Talia is the person, right? Because it's something that if I tell you the sentence by itself, you can understand it. It's understandable. Now, if you notice here, we have a dependent sentence, right? Did the must to help me. In this case, this is an incomplete sentence and therefore dependent because it doesn't have a subject or an agent, right, in the sentence. And if you read the sentence isolated without this, imagine that we erase this, of course that you're not going to be able to understand, right? Did the must to help me is a very incomplete and dependent sentence. So as you can see, there is a word in the middle, right? Basically uniting or unifying these two sentences. The first one, Talia is the person here, and here you have did the must to help me, right? But as I said, in the middle of these sentences, between these sentences, we have the relative pronoun. Then in this case is who, right? Talia is the person who did the most to help me. Now, of course, who means quién, right? I mean, the meaning of the word is not changing. Of course, the most natural and common meaning of the word remains. That is to say, it means quién, right? So Talia is the person who did the most to help me. That would be the sentence. And what would be the meaning? Talia es la persona que hizo lo mayor para ayudarme, right? Or quien hizo más para ayudarme. So that would be basically the sentence. Talia is the person who did the most to help me. And as you can see, we are uniting the independent and dependent clauses through or by this particular relative clause. All right, so let me divide them. So in this case, the independent one, we're going to talk about the structure now, don't worry. The independent would be Talia is the person. As you can see, it's not very difficult. Talia is the person, right? And here we have dependent. The dependent one would be did the most to help me. Now, what is our relative pronoun? Our relative pronoun for unifying the sentences, well, it's going to be who. All right. So this is it. Now, what is the structure for us to use this relative pronoun? The structure is the following. Basically, you have independent sentence plus the relative pronoun. As you can see, the relative pronoun is basically a word that helps us to append, adjuntar a word, right? Or a sentence in this case, so our independent sentence. So here we have the independent sentence plus the relative pronoun. And finally, we have the dependent clause. Dependent clause. So this is the structure. Independent sentence plus relative pronoun plus dependent clause. Now remind, we are right now discussing relative pronouns for people sentences, oraciones de personas. That is to say, sentences. We are discussing sentences. We are discussing sentences that have people as agents. Oh, I'm not going to say agents, as subjects of the sentence. Son los sujetos, right? De la oración. We are discussing sentences that have people as subjects of the sentence. So in this case, for example, Talia is the person. In this case, of course, I think it's very noticeable, right, Shirley, that Talia is the subject of the sentence, not only the center of attention of the sentence, but also the person who is somehow doing the action. Talia is the person, in this case, who did the most to help me. And as I say, the only thing we are doing here is unifying two sentences. The first one is an independent sentence, Talia is the person, and the second one did the most to help. Now, maybe you ask yourself and you're wondering, why is it necessary to unify the sentences? Couldn't I well, couldn't I do it with just two independent sentences? Yeah, certainly you could. For example, look at how I would do it. I could say, Talia is the person. Talia is the person. Well, Talia is a person, right? Talia is a person. We could write Talia is a person. Talia is a person. She did the most to help me. We could also write down this, right? Two different independent sentences, and the meaning of these conjunctive sentences would still remain, right? Because we are using, as I say, two independent sentences. But of course, I think that this expression is way richer, right? This is a richer expression. It sounds better. It's more complex. And this is certainly the type of sentence that you should look for in order to improve your TOEFL score, right? Because these are complex sentences, and to have this grammar means very good English, right? So instead of writing out sentences like this, that of course are very primitive and independent, Talia is a person, yes, a sentence. She did the most to help me. Instead of writing down these two separate sentences, it's better to use a relative pronoun in order to unify them and to create a complex sentence, all right? Now, as I said, the independent one would be Talia is the person. The dependent one that we have seen what is a dependent sentence will be did the most to help me in this case. And we are unifying them. That is to say, we are uniting them by the relative pronoun who. That remind who is the one that we can use for sentences that have people as subjects of the sentence, right? Whenever we have a person, whether it is a child or an adult, or let's say an older person, the point is that whenever you have a person as the subject of the sentence, you have the option to use two relative pronouns. The first one is who, that we have already seen how to include it. And the second one is that. Let me show it now. Talia is the person that did the most to help me. As you can see, we are using that exactly as we use who. Talia is the person who did the most to help me. I'm gonna highlight this differently. And we could also use instead Talia is the person that did the most to help me, as you can see. We can very simply do that, right? Talia is the person that did the most to help me, right? Like that. All right, fantastic. So can you see this? Dear Shirley, do you see that it is exactly the same? Here we will be following basically the same structure, right? Independent sentence plus relative pronoun plus dependent clause. For example,
you can use who or does the same form.
Exactly.
Okay.
Just when you have subjects that are people, right? Because whenever you don't have people, we're gonna see right now what to use. But when you have people, any person, as I say, it could be a child, it can be an adult, it can be a young person, it can be an older person. The point is that people, when you are talking about people in sentences, the relative pronoun you're going to use to connect independent and dependent clauses is going to be who or, as you can see, that. All right, those are our two options, who or that. Yes? Any question about this?
No, that's okay. It's okay.
All right, fantastic. So let us see one more now. There's another case. But before we do that, for example, I want to give you here an example of two independent sentences, and I want you to unite them by using any of these relative pronouns, okay? So I'm going to write down here. I'm going to write down here. Oh, by the way, remind that who or that basically means quién o qué, right? It is exactly the same meaning than the words have normally when we are discussing their meaning in any other context. Who means quién, who means quién, like this. And that means also qué, right? As we normally use these meanings in their context. Who, quién, and that qué, right? It's not something different. Just wanted to clarify this because I think it's important, right? To understand that when you are saying this sentence is tal es la persona quien hizo lo más para ayudarme, y en esta otra, tal es la persona que hizo lo mayor para ayudar, right? The most to help. It's not something that changes at all, right? Any question about that? The meaning of the words?
No, that's okay.
All right, fantastic. Now let us talk about, as I was mentioning, I want to give you here an example, some sort of exercise. So basically, I'm going to write down two different independent sentences, and I want you to please unite them utilizing the relative pronouns that we have just discussed. For example, if I write down, let's say Carlos is a person. He, let's say, won a scholarship. Please now try to unify the sentences by linking them or basically connecting them through a relative pronoun. Please, could you do that for me?
Okay. Carlos is a person who won a scholarship.
Okay, here is a person who won a scholarship. Now, please do it with the other relative noun, with that. How would it be with that instead of who?
Carlos is a person that won a scholarship.
A person that won, very good, that won a scholarship. Fantastic. As you can see, that's it. It's not something difficult. Carlos is a person who won a scholarship, or Carlos is a person that won a scholarship. Any of them, it's a sentence that is being unified by a relative pronoun that we use for sentences that have a subject that is a person. In this case, the subject of my sentences is always Carlos. And given that Carlos, of course, is a person, we're going to use who or that, right? Is that clear now?
Yeah, that's clear.
That's it. Fantastic. Okay. Let us see one more. Where is it? Here. Let's see one more. So we can use the relative pronouns that or which for a thing, right? This is the case for a thing. Let me show it to you. So this is going to be relative pronouns for let's say objects. Sentences. All right. This is going to be the second case. Here and like this. So as I say, we can use the relative pronouns that or which. These are our new guests, let us say, because these are the ones that we can use for object sentences. That is to say, sentences. Right thing. That is to say, sorry. That is to say, sentences that have an object as the subject of the sentence. There you are. We can use the relative pronouns that or which for a thing. That is to say, sentences that have an object as the subject of the sentence, all right? So for example, look at the illustrations we have here. Talia, I turned down the job offer that I got at Newsbeat, right? I turned down the job offer. As you can see in this case, what is the subject of the sentence? Is the job offer, right? I turned down the job offer that. So as you can see, we are in this case using that. By the way, that is also a relative pronoun that we can use in, if you remind, in the sentences that have nouns or people, not nouns, people as the subjects of the sentence. And now we are repeating that one. Basically, this is a generic relative pronoun. This is one that we can use mostly everywhere, but of course there are some exceptions. Nonetheless, as I say, for objects, that is the same word, significa que, right? It means que. Anyways, it's not something different at all. So turn down the job that offer that I got a Newsbeat, right? Or Talia, I turned down the job offer which I got a Newsbeat. This is the second option, which, right? We have that and we have which I got as a Newsbeat. These are our two options. We don't have more. So how to use them? Well, the structure remains. Let me show them to you. Where is this? It's actually here, all right? Independent sentence plus relative pronoun plus dependent clause. So this is it.
Okay.
Yes. This is a sentence. As you can see, it is respected. And I want to give you here an example to see if you can get this one. For example, if I say, the computer is mine. No, the computer is new. Okay, no, the computer is here. let's say I bought a new computer. I bought a new computer. End of the sentence. I bought a new computer, and now the computer is very expensive. How could you how could you unify the sentences by linking them with a relative pronoun? Please help me with this one. How can you?
Okay. About a new computer.
All right. About a new computer. Yes.
Which is very expensive.
Right. Yes, exactly. Which is very expensive. Fantastic. What about using the relative pronoun that? How would it be?
About a new computer that is very expensive.
All right. I bought a new computer. Is very expensive. Fantastic. There you are. Now, I want to also mention here that the word which means el cual o la cual. All right. So I just wanted to make that mention that the word which that we have not used until this point, but it is our new guest, which means la cual o el cual. All right. So that when you read, for example, this sentence that you gave me, I bought a new computer, which is very expensive. The only thing you're saying is, compré una computadora, la cual es muy cara, right? La cual es muy cara, which is very expensive. All right. Any question about that?
No, that's okay. I think that's okay.
Fantastic. Yes, remains, exactly. And for example, for this one, the word that would mean exactly the same. It would mean que. Compré una nueva computadora que es muy cara, right? That is very expensive. That doesn't change. Doesn't change at all. All right, fantastic. Do you have any other questions, Shirley, about what we have discussed until this point?
No, I don't have a question.
All right, fantastic. Okay, so sadly, we're going to have to stop the class here because I have another classes. Okay. But nonetheless, tomorrow we're going to continue, okay, with this. As I say, there's one more case that I want to show you, and it's very good, right?
Okay, I have a problem for tomorrow.
Oh, yes, you have? What happened?
Yeah, the problem is today, I need to work tomorrow, so I don't know if we can the class in the afternoon, like this hour, you.
Oh no, this afternoon, in the afternoon I cannot, because I have other compromises on Saturdays afternoon. So I don't know. I mean, I will have to talk with Ruth to see what we can do. But yeah, I mean, it could be maybe. I mean, it could be next Saturday maybe that we can recover it. Yes, we will have to.
I had time for the tomorrow before the night, and in the night really. So yes. I don't know.
Yes, we will have to see because as I say, it's like in the like on Saturdays and weekends. I mean, the weekends I used to be super busy with other activities, but I mean, let us discuss it with Ruth because probably she's gonna say that we can recover it maybe next weekend. That is to say, next Saturday, because on Saturdays I have free time in the morning. That is to say that while I am working, I have some hours that we always have just in case one student is not able to join my class. So maybe you can take the like a recovery class next weekend. So I'm gonna talk to her about that, and I'm gonna let you know. Okay, I'm gonna talk to her right now, and I'm gonna let you know what she tells me. Okay, because she's the one that organizes that type of thing for recovery classes. I mean,
yeah.
And I'm gonna let you know. All right.
Perfect. Thank you. Another thing. At this moment, I don't know if you can assign for the work, for the homework, because in my my platform I don't have nothing.
Oh yes, fantastic. Yes.
Yeah.
It's probably I didn't assign it yet, so well let me do it right now actually because it's just easy. It's just like this. So just this, I do this. And now, all right, so as I said, you have time to this Tuesday, but I'm gonna give you time to this Wednesday. All right. Like that. And this is not necessary. It's not. All right, there you are. All right, that's it, dear Shirley. So now you're gonna be able to see it and you can advance, okay? Give it a time because it takes time. It doesn't appear immediately. So please give it a little time, okay? Help me with the traditional point of rules field, dear Shirley, please. And
I had examen. Yeah.
Oh, yes, yes, you received it? Oh, wonderful, wonderful. It was very fast this time then. So where are you? Right here. Fantastic. Here, here. All right, there we are. Okay, here.
Okay, Heidi.
Okay, thank you very much. So yeah, as I say, if you're not going to be able to join me tomorrow, I'm gonna be telling you this. Well, I'm gonna try tonight to tell you what we can do, and if I don't manage to do it tonight, tomorrow I'm going to be notifying you. Okay, after I talked with Ruth. All right.
Okay, perfect. But tomorrow I don't come in the
yes, I know. Don't worry. But I mean, I'm gonna send you a message through WhatsApp. Okay. I'm gonna send a message so that you can see, you can know what is gonna be our manner to recover the class. Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna send you a message through WhatsApp. All right, fantastic. So thank you very much, dear Shirley, and I see you. I guess Monday, but we're gonna see. All right, we're gonna see.
Okay. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you very much.